Let's take this back to July of 2017. So around maybe April of May of 2017, I was having some really challenging time with my supervisor. He was a male, first time supervising. I had already done supervising for about 5 years, but this was his first time having a supervising position, and he did not supervise well. And the dynamic between me and him started causing internal issues in my stomach. And so I was starting to have GERD symptoms. And at that time, I was working 3 jobs. I worked in intensive mental health services, in infant development services, and behavioral health services. So that meant I would do infant development from about 7 to about 8:39, and then I would get to the office about 9:30, and do my intensive mental health services from about 9:30 to 5. I would pick my daughter up, take her to my grandmother's house, and have a session from about 6 to 8. So that was my typical day, Monday through Friday. And I was living in my own apartment with me, my daughter, and my dog. And I was going to school. I was trying to finish my degree. And my mom goes, "Oh, Charnel, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. And you need to come back home and live with me so you don't have to do so much." And I said, "You know what? That's a good idea." She said, "Come home, live with me, come get your degree, and then you can move back out." And I was like, "Okay, let's do that." And so I decided to quit my job. But she didn't want me to quit my main job. She still wanted me to work 3 jobs while I lived with her. And so when I quit, she became very abusive. As soon as I quit my job in July of 2013, I was kicked out in October. And I was kicked out because during a situation where I quit my job and took on the infant development job full time. That was a service rendered job, which meant I was no longer on salary. Both my jobs were service rendered jobs. So that meant if I didn't go to work, I didn't get paid. It's not like there isn't sick time that you can use. If the client canceled, then you lost out on money that day. And so she was upset that that was my new form of payment. And then all of a sudden, when she was picking my daughter up for me on Monday evenings, she sends me a text message saying that, "Oh, I'm starting to go to the gym on Mondays evenings to start cycling." And she said, "I can't pick up Caden anymore." And so then I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do if you can't pick up Caden anymore? Like, Caden can go with you to the gym, and they have a daycare at this gym. Me and her have gone to the gym together and dropped Caden off in that daycare. So this was her narcissistic way of pulling her power so she could do what she wanted to do, or have me do what she wanted to do. And so I'm like, okay, well, Granny, you're going to have to keep Caden until I get off work. I don't know why my mom is just pulling this abruptly. You know what I mean? That's what she does. She doesn't give you time to scatter, to think. And so I'm like, okay, fine. Granny, I'm going to be there when I be there. Now, because my schedule shifted, I was no longer done at 8. I took infants that were home, that got home later. My infant development were from ages 0 to 3. And so I had bigger kids that could do later sessions, like my 2-year-old and 3-year-old. And so with that shift, I didn't get done to 10 o'clock at night. And so my grandmother had to keep Caden from about 1 to 10. And my grandmother is complaining now, "I can't be doing this, keeping Caden this late. This is too much for me." And I'm like, okay, I understand, but I'm on my way. I'll be there when I can. And so then I get Caden and we come home. And now, mind you, it's like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And my mom's like, "Well, Caden has homework to do." And I go, "Well, no, Caden is not going to do her homework." And so then she takes Caden upstairs and starts doing homework with her. And I said, "Caden, come downstairs, feed Lily, and come on, we getting ready to go upstairs and go to bed." Because feeding Lily was my daughter's job. Like, it's one simple job. I believe a child should have a job that's simple enough, pouring some dog food in the bowl. So that was her responsibility. And so then my mom got upset because I'm taking her to bed, to the point that when I was making myself some nachos, just chips and cheese in the microwave, she came and slapped the plate out of my hand 2 times. The second time she slapped the plate out of my hand, I flinched at her like that. She ran and called the police and told the police that I hit her. And I said, "I hit you?" She said, "Yeah, she hit me." When she got off the phone, she said, "Well, I thought you were going to hit me." I said, but that's not what you told the police. You didn't tell the police you felt threatened. You told the police I assaulted you, and I didn't. And I recorded it. I captured it on camera.
I said I was going to hit you?
Can I hit?
When did I say that?
I can't hear
You see this mess on the floor down here? On the floor? You see this? She's in here. She's mad. And she's throwing stuff. That's not me. That's not me. I'm not doing anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't do nothing. None of this. You're lying. You're a liar.
And this was right after I had only been in her house from her inviting me back into her house after I had my own place. Okay? So I moved back in like July, August, September. I was kicked out in 4 months. After her inviting me back. To add and mention that night, my mother pushed me, was blocking, is actually this room that I'm in, was preventing that door from being closed. And when I moved her hand to close the door, my brother Justin, who's the one that says we were happy before you got here, came busting into the door to fight me because my mom wouldn't let me close the door. And then said, oh, you hit my mama. But nobody protected me when she was slapping plates out of my hand. And so I had to bust Justin upside his head with a champagne bottle when he came in my room because he was choking me. And I heard my baby screaming, don't kill my mom, don't kill my mom. And so I ended up having to, I got out of like his chokehold, right? Because, you know, somebody saying, you hearing your daughter saying, don't kill my mom, don't kill my mom. That's going to give you some motivation. And I got up, I jumped on my bed, and I went out this window, and I had already called 911. So they were on their way. So I jumped out that window and sat on the roof until 911 got there. And they said the only reason they're not taking me to jail or taking my daughter from me for child endangerment is when they got there, they saw the scratches around my neck. And said, he blocked your only way of access to appropriately exit. And that was the only reason they did not take Kaden. I actually hear her in the video say, but this is my house. She don't get to walk around in my house doing woo 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 woo. Not that I actually hit her. She told the police I hit her so that she could get them coming out there. And I think the lady was telling her that that's not a valid reason. And her response was, but this is my house. She don't get to walk around woo, 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 woo.
She doesn't have the right to walk around my home. Yes.
Completely negating the fact that you invited me back here. I had my own shit. And to this day, she does not believe she did anything wrong because she believes that I should have just let her do the homework with Kaden, and I was intervening because she had been doing everything for Kaden. And I was like, that was your choice. You've been doing everything for Kaden because you're trying to get a buy-in. You're trying to love bomb her. So that way she has this emotional attachment to you. And you got mad because you felt like you've invested enough of the love bombing that I'm interrupting your control. When I tell you I'm dealing with a real life narcissist, I'm dealing with a real life narcissist. And this is just episode 1 on how my mother's a bitch. Stay tuned, I got a few more.